Finishing up the Venom saga, we have Spider-Man and Wraith both looking out through the entire Venomized city. Everything is just encoded with the symbiotic ooze here, no diddy. And we have, well, Spider-Man and Wraith looking around, trying to find Goliath here, but they understand the situation is dire here, with Wraith actually stating she never thought she'd been through so much with Goliath here for the past couple of days here. And Spider-Man says, well, this is kind of what you get into when you date a superhero. To which Wraith says, yeah, which is why she preferred to work alone. And it seems like Wraith is kind of contemplating something here, but her thoughts are interrupted when she and Pete have to deal with a bunch of symbiotes now attacking innocent civilians and trying to either turn them or kill them. So they decide to put their conversation on hold for right now and go ahead and deal with the situation. Now, you might ask, where's Goliath? Well, Goliath wakes up in an apartment complex. He wakes up in a bed with bandages around his more, I guess you could say like this more, it's from his shoulder down to his, I would definitely say either his right or left side rib here. And he wakes up and looks outside and sees the entire city, or at least the portion of the city, covered in symbiotes. And this is where Haley walks in and Grimlock is utterly shocked, even putting on his shirt. And at first, Haley tries to communicate with him via writing on paper. She actually brought like a whole bunch of it here. However, Grimlock simply shuts that down by communicating with her via sign language, which actually excites Haley as they both have a conversation here. They talk about how they're doing, how's Miles, and Grimlock actually puts Miles on here saying that he likes her, like a lot. To which Haley actually blushes here and actually tells Grimlock, thank you. And she wonders how long has he been, well, the way he is here. I do think Haley would have found him in the alley and she would have seen him turn from his Titan form to his human form. And this is where Grimlock begins to explain his backstory and how basically he got here. It does take him a hour and a couple hand cramps, but hey, he does manage to get the message across here. To which Haley actually says that he doesn't have to be the monster that people think he is. To which Grimlock even states that he actually likes the way it is here, but he does want to know more about himself and more about these other Titans, and if anything else has been going on the planet that people just simply don't know about. However, he does hear people screaming outside here, and believe it or not, he simply has to leave, telling Haley goodbye, and he leaps out of her window, almost breaking it, as he turns into his Goliath form, but notices that he is slightly bigger than before. And this allows him to not only squash some of the symbiotes, but squash them completely. Like host, symbiote, everything. Just a bloody black smear on the ground with a hint of those extra symbiote colors. So yeah, he's able to kill symbiotes here. And he notices that his body's a bit hotter than it was before here. And he just simply tears through the symbiotes. What else is there to do? He tears through them and he actually begins to track down Carnage. Considering that he's moving in certain directions here, he tries to use his flame charge not only to ramp up his speed here, but to also, just give him a greater boost of mobility to actually sniff around the area. And this is where he actually begins to sense where Carnage is by, well, killing a few symbiotes and getting the scent of him and just kind of navigating through it, and goes to the strongest source of the scent where it's at the center of the city here. And it kind of should be obvious where that is. That's obviously going to be in the subway. But he does have to save a few civilians, to which the civilians are a bit shocked and mortified at the sheer fact that this fire-breathing behemoth here just saved their lives and is getting them into a safer area, even tearing off symbiotes from buildings to basically put these people inside of them. And this is where he bumps into Wraith again, and as he tries to go and hug Yuri just pushes him away, to which it leaves a bit of concern on him. But again, he understands that the situation may be the actual reason why she's doing this. And Spider-Man shows up and he just turns into his human form at this point. Even complimenting Pete that he just looks worse for wear and beaten up. Basically, telling Pete he looks horrible, looks like hell. To which Pete and him do joke back and forth about it, but this is where everyone wants to know what happened. Like, dude, where were you? And this is where Goliath goes into detail about the last chapter and that he fought Thor. To which Spider-Man does say that the Avengers were currently in the negative zone solving a situation and that Thor was there to kind of defend New York, at least from bigger threats here, while we, cleaned up minor incidents, right? And this is where Yuri states that right now they need to figure out a plan to deal with Carnage. To which Grimlock says he's got one, but he needs them to do a couple of things here. Number one is that he is going to get the Venom symbiote off of Venom, and he wants Pete to take it back to Harry. And for Wraith, she needs to give him at least a citywide perimeter. Meaning Wraith is going to have to evacuate or at least make sure all these people are, innocent people by the way, are locked up. This is when more symbiotes come into their location and Goliath simply transforms back into his beast form and starts just tearing them apart while Peter and Yuri both get in their positions getting ready. And pretty much everything goes smoothly here. We see shots of Wraith, going around and saving people, Goliath saving people, Spider-Man saving people, and what they're doing is they're actually putting them into buildings that are actually far outside of the city. Any people that are way too close to the, I guess you could say, the center of the city here, they're taking them out and putting them at an area where they think they'll be safe, and they hope that they're right. And this is where we actually see Carnage on his throne here, in the center of the city, underground, talking about how he can't wait to expand his plan to a worldwide scale. Goliath busts in from the roof here and actually grabs Carnage before he can even say anything and flings him off of his throne. This is when all these symbiotes try to jump in and pour themselves on Goliath, but Goliath begins to pretty much take them out like Kong would with the V-Rexes, straight up backhanding them, slamming them, and then he has enough and simply burns them. However, he notices that his body temperature is increasing greatly. And this is where Cassidy tries to appease to him, telling him that, the last time they fought, you almost killed him. But the Thunder God came and saved him. Do you know where he is, by the way? Doesn't really matter. He says that he and Goliath could actually work together. And this actually gets Goliath to pause a little bit and actually look at him curiously like, huh? And as these other symbiotes, try to creep up, they try to get into different positions here, Goliath, noticing this, still keeps his eye on Carnage, but unleashes a thunderclap so powerful that it shakes the area that they're in, probably even further than that as well, and actually disrupts the symbiotes completely, just straight up bursting them and actually leaving their hosts exposed here. They're all flame members. They're all, cultists, I should say here. And Carnage says that, see, with that kind of power, you could be unstoppable. We could be unstoppable here. And Goliath, again, is looking at him like he's crazy, almost wanting to look around and look like, wait, is he seriously talking to me? Like, what the? Like, you can't be this crazy. He even goes further, turns into his human form, saying that they're not so different. The amount of cultists you've killed, the amount of people you killed with your symbiotes, don't think I didn't feel them. Every last one of them you simply killed out of your own pleasure. To which Goliath puts the fear of God himself into Cassidy by laughing in his beast form. It's such a monstrous laugh that it actually causes him to de-transform for a bit here, just for him to get a grip. And this is where he tells him, you really think that? To which Cassidy says, yeah, we're not so different. Both of us are murderers. Both of us kill for the sake of our own pleasure. To which Goliath looks at him and simply laughs even harder, telling him that when he kills someone, it's because they deserve it. Because he's not someone to spare them. Yes, some of these symbiote people are innocent, but they're also harming the guilty. They're also people that your people thought would be great cultist members. So, in order to prevent any future enemies, he decided to get rid of them out of duty, out of honor. And this is when Carnage tries to monologue, but a flamethrower so hot, so intense, it burns the symbiote. It burns him badly. Carnage tries his best to, transform, but it's actually taking a bit longer. To which Goliath simply looks at him and waits. Again, noticing his increase in size more and more as he uses his fire powers. He doesn't understand why, but he can't focus on that right now. Now that he's bigger, he's stronger, and he's more durable, as Carnage tries to use hit and run tactics. He tries to stab him now, but now it doesn't pierce him. It doesn't go through him. It can't cut him. And again, Goliath unleashes another torrent of flames, now much bigger than before, and Cassidy can only pray that it doesn't kill him. And luckily, he's right. Cassidy tries to stab him again, this time with more tendrils than before, but all they do is annoy him. It's like someone poking you over and over and over again. Eventually, you're gonna get annoyed by it. Goliath then grabs a huge chunk of the symbiotic ground that they're on and then throws it at him. And this is where his body heat begins to increase and he understands what's happening. He now begins to control it. Now seeing that what it is, he now feels it. He gets a hold of it and he begins to increase his body temperature to where it becomes unbearable. Carnage tries to put up even a defense against him using things like cinder blocks, pillars, even other symbiotes. They all get turned to dust. Goliath then pounces on Carnage, grabbing him with his burning hands now. Because again, he's intense. The heat of it is so intense that it begins to burn the Carnage symbiote away. Carnage then tries to land blow after blow on him, trying to even stagger him. But it's just like a child trying to hit him. And this is where Goliath rips him apart, exposing not only the Carnage symbiote, but the Venom symbiote as well here. And he holds on to the Venom symbiote, even decreasing his body temperature. This is where Pete comes in through the hole he made earlier and asks him, does he have it? This is where Grimlock hands him the Venom symbiote, and Pete puts it in a web-like container, taking it away and hopefully getting it to Harry in time. This is when Goliath then turns his attention to a regenerating Carnage. Carnage, seeing that he has nothing left, tries to leap away, but Grimlock simply grabs him and rips him in half again, this time torturing him. He rips his arms, then his legs, and just throws his body on the ground here. Now with the Venom symbiote out as well here, the city begins to kind of dissipate, if you will. It tries to retract itself into Carnage. This is where he hears from Pete over the communicator that they're ready. Everyone is at a safe distance. Everyone is evacuated from the city. Rafe tells from her side that she has everyone in a safe place as well here. So she wants him to let it rip. Hold nothing back. End this once and for all. And Goliath is simply torturing Carnage as he hears this here. He throws him around, ragdolls him, he picks him up, and even juggles him a bit, getting a few sadistic laughs out of it here. And this is where Carnage tries to hit and run, slashing at Goliath's back, albeit it doesn't work, and tries to leave. However, Goliath burns the entire area where Carnage is trying to flee here, creating a massive wall of flames, so intense that Carnage has nowhere to go but back. But as he tries to turn around, he gets cratered into the ground by a fire punch, so intense that it now exposes Cassidy's own chest and now giving him a couple more marks. This is where Goliath begins to damage the area that he's in here, using flaming boulders, flamethrowers, everything. And as he finally releases all the heat he built up into an eruption so powerful that it creates a giant volcano-sized crater as the burst of flames, and somewhat of a magma-like fashion in all honesty, just engulfs everything. Every symbiotic part of the city is burnt to a crisp. Ash, dust, gone. No symbiotes are left. Nothing is left. However, through the smoke and through the craters, as people are cheering, they both notice something. And it's a giant figure. And this is where we actually get to see Goliath. He's huge, ginormous, titanic even. And he even looks at his size. He's bigger than anything. His weight, his size could push over an entire building, and I would definitely say he's around the same size as the King Titan at this point here, which means that he's reached a size to where it's just monstrous. He's fully gone into his Titan stage, or at least his Titan size stage, and he lets out a triumphant roar where people are actually cheering for him as he dives into the water, hopefully not to be seen as he deforms. We then fast forward to the next day, where Goliath is reading, or at least watching, the news on his phone here, and well, everyone can see that the world, or at least New York City, was saved by this giant monster, and they're wondering, what is it? Where has it gone? And we actually see Grimlock here going towards his Shastasaurus, which has been here the entire time, chilling and eating whatever food it has in its inventory. And this is where Grimlock actually sees a note on the dock where his Shastasaurus' submarine, or his, I guess you say the cockpit area is here. And he actually reads it. It's a note from Yuri, saying that she wishes him the best of luck and hopefully they'll see each other again sometime in the future. To which Grimlock does scoff at it, but he understands that it was never going to be a long and lasting relationship. However, before he enters the Shastasaurus here and goes back to his job here, hopefully to get a raise and a promotion, he actually catches a spear that was going to hit his head. He then turns around, but his smile quickly dissipates with a look of fear as he sees Haley, Miles, and Rio all in the clutches of the hunters here. They have them all with blades to their throat. And this is where Craven walks into view, telling him that they're going to settle this here and now. You kill me, or I make sure your family never sees the light of day again. And that's where we're going to leave it off here, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. I know the Symbiote saga was a bit short here, but I have so many other plans to pretty much go over. And there is going to be an epilogue chapter where this pretty much finishes off the Craven saga as well. And we're also going to talk about the fallout of these, how the Avengers come in. Fin Fang Foom appears now that you know, Goliath is in his Titan stage. There are more mysteries with Rockwell to be had on Earth before we even get to the next planet that we're going to go to. And that's going to be just all for today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Peace.